Well, ladies, and everybody out in Facebook world, happy to have you on. Thank you for being here tonight. We, of course, are starting out with some technical difficulties, so it's been fun. And we are good to go, finally, after all this fun and games. So, Noelle and Charlene, the challenge queens. I am so pleased to be sharing these ladies with you tonight. They are awesome ladies. They're in my mastermind group. They have taught me many things already. They are going to teach you folks some things tonight. They are so awesome. Like I mentioned in one of my posts, starting a live event without these ladies on your team is like going sailing without a boat. You absolutely need to have these ladies in your corner in order to get things done right. And I'm so happy to have you here, ladies, and welcome.
Thank you so much for having us. This is super exciting.
Yay! Yes, indeed. It's so awesome to have you here. I'm going to split the screen up a bit so we can see each other equally. And of course, the whole idea is to share with the world who you are, what you do, your expertise, and that sort of thing. So I'm just going to ask you the first question, and if that's the only one you ever answer, that's okay. Because you guys are experts. And when I ask you, what is your area of expertise? What's your story about what happened in your life to inspire you to begin to do what you do? It could well be that you don't get past this question, and that's okay, because you guys are experts, and I'm sure you have a long story. So you're more than welcome. Which one of you would like to start?
Well, first of all, I'll just tell you, we're just so thrilled to be here, and we're really grateful, Dean. So thank you so very much. We've really enjoyed your company in the mastermind, and so we're eager to meet all of the people that you've been serving in your group, and we're just really grateful to be here. So thank you so much.
Awesome.
Yeah. So who are we? We are. Nice to meet you too, Chris. We are. So we're the 𝐤𝐞 event agency. We actually started off as the challenge queen, so we fell into this completely by accident. It was a complete accident. But before I start, I'll just let you know, I'll tell you that whole story. But what we do is we are event planners for the virtual world, just like wedding planners are to weddings. Okay, so we go in. We have the experience, we have the knowledge, and we have the know-how, and we have the resources to support people running a virtual event or an online mastermind or a summit, a challenge, anything like that. So that is kind of what we do in a nutshell, but there are a lot of nuances involved. So that really is the nutshell version. What Charlene and I met not even a year ago. We were in a course together, an online marketing course by Pedro Adeo, and he was teaching people how to pivot online and use the challenge model doing that. And so we kind of connected in the group. We were taking the same course, and we bounced ideas off each other. And what we didn't realize was that was the very, very beginning of this whole thing that has kind of happened. And so Charlene she's a life coach. She ran a challenge. I have an interior design business here in Nova Scotia, Canada with my husband. I've worked in community development for years. Charlene has a very diverse background as well. I'll let her speak to that in a little bit. But we just kind of connected. We saw each other as like go-getters, and we supported one another in our challenges, which were completely separate from one another. So I was doing one called Airbnb 101 Kickstart and Run, and Charlene was doing one called From Tragedy to Triumph. And so we were coming at this from two very different angles. But what happened was we were one another's support team. And then a whole bunch of other people that we had also befriended in the course had also decided to run challenges, and they were just kind of, bouncing ideas around as friends. And so Charlene, actually there was this one individual, he was a pig farmer from Ohio, and he ran a challenge called Women, Wine, and the Word. He was also a pastor, and he got 876 women into his group organically. He was expecting about 50, and so he was like, help me, what am I going to do with all these women? And so Charlene had offered to help him, and then I registered for it to support him. And I was like, who made this registration form? I think I could make this a little better.
I
She was
made a
like-
really ugly form.
She's like, I made it. Come and fix it. You're in. So
Yep, you're on the team. That's how that happens. You're
Bang, right?
So I kind of supported with like design stuff, tech stuff, and then I also have like a very extensive background in community development. So just engaging the people and really helping the farmer deliver his message. And so we were just kind of in the background and on the sidelines cheering him on and supporting his people. Well, soon enough, you know, we helped a few other friends in that process. We kind of realized like, hey, we work really well together and this is really supporting people. Like, I think we're kind of onto something. Both entrepreneurs, it's very hard to fall onto something and ignore it, right? And so, and then soon enough, like the word just kind of got out and friends became clients. And so we had to put a price list to this service because people came a knocking sort of thing. And so it's really developed organically. But what's happened is now we've run, I don't know, Charlene, I've kind of lost 24 challenges.
Going into our 25th one, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
In the last 9 months, but we did take a 2-month break when we realized like, are we going to do this? Is this a business? Yeah. What are we doing here? So really over 7 months, we've been a part of 24 events and we just love it. We just love supporting people. We love supporting entrepreneurs and we love helping people show up strong to deliver their message powerfully or their product or their service. And so when people don't have to, what we've fallen upon is like when people don't have to worry about all of the little nuances and muting the people and dropping the links, and they definitely can't kind of read the room and see where they're landing with people if they're speaking. Yeah. So what we've kind of fallen upon by accident is really just supporting people in that environment so they can show up strong for their audience. And then really, guys, in turn, that leads to conversions, because if you're showing up strong and powerfully and worry-free, knowing that there's a team beside you and behind you and in front of you that's got your back, then you're just kind of you're in your lane and you're doing what you've been called to do. And so so we have now developed an agency, and I'll let Charlene talk about that a little bit.
Cool.
Yeah, so that was great, Noelle. Thanks so much. And yeah, here's the thing, you know, we were just each other's support system. Running a challenge on your own, Chris, I see that you ran one too. You were mentioning that. Thanks so much for sharing.
Cool.
Love to hear more about what you ran and what your experience was of it in the chat. But what we experienced was there were a lot of people like us, you know, big vision, felt the need like we had to wear all of the hats because nobody can do it better than yourself, right? And nobody has a better vision than you of what you want the outcome to look like. So yeah, exactly. So that's become our motto. You weren't meant to wear all the hats. You're not designed to be skilled in every single area. And we had to learn the hard way. We were exhausted. So now we dubbed it the challenge hangover because it took a few days to come down off that. What we didn't realize, though, is we had become each other's support system. We were filling a gap, a big gap. And we noticed that we were speaking to the functionalities of what we were doing. Yes, we can tick the boxes. Yes, we can handle your tech. Yes, we can set you up in the back end. Yes, we can stream you in. Yes, we can be your team. But we realized after many months that we weren't speaking to the emotionality piece, the relief that you have when you can actually trust a team to deliver, not even just deliver, but over deliver. And we also receive that on the other end because we've partnered with very carefully with people who support us in the back end. And man, it is so nice to just know that when you pass something off to somebody to do, that now they're gonna exceed expectations. Like, I can't even tell you what kind of relief comes with that. And it's like, it's such a blessing. So that's what happened with us. My background, though.
Let me interrupt just for a second. I just want to let everybody know there's 2 feeds that are going to stop now. On my personal profile and my business page, I'm going to stop my feeds, and this is only going to happen in my Facebook group now. So I'm going to let you guys go. Much love.
All right.
One more. Okay, you're back on. Charlene, you can see now your background.
Woo, they got a teaser. They got to join the group. All right. So my background is pretty eclectic. I come from an entertainment background. I've played bass in a rock band, acting, modeling, dancing, you name it. I've done it. Love being on stage, have that personality. I don't know if you noticed, but I also have a background in private investigation. So I became really skilled at trying to figure out what's going on all the way around in the puzzle and make sure that I can communicate it properly and plan strategically. So observation is something I grew up with. It was a family business. So I learned counter surveillance at a very early age. I also have a background.
You see that? Chris just attended Pedro's event. He hasn't run a challenge yet.
Oh, man.
He's about to, is what he's saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Pedro is really amazing at teaching the challenge model. We like people to come versed in his language. And when you're ready to roll, we can support you in that experience. So you got to come ready. So lean into his training. It is well worth your time. It converts incredibly well. So I also have a background in I used to be a preschool teacher for about 8 years as well. And I'm fascinated with neuroscience, right? Understanding behaviors, understanding, trying to figure out, again, that problem solving, what's going on beneath the surface, and trying to toss a lot of strategies at it. So Noelle looks at the challenge from the aesthetic and design angle. I come at it from the private investigation angle, and we're both coming at it with a whole bunch of strategy. And as you can see, we're two very different personalities, but much the same brain and same kind of energy. So when we're partnered with a host on their challenge, we really light it up. We understand the angle. We know what you need to do over the next 5 days because we've been practicing it. And here's the thing, we've had that inside out view of what challenges look like. There's different crowds. You got to know who showed up. What do they need? What do they really need? Because you may have planned your best challenge, but did that person actually show up that needs what you offered? Or are you going to need some quick strategy with your team to make sure that the offer you drop that Thursday or whenever you're going to drop it really meets the needs of the people? Yeah. And making sure that the people who are there have had the transformations that they need in order to convert at the end. So that's what we've become really skilled in. And the challenge hosts are like, oh, finally, somebody's speaking my language. Because here's the deal, Chris, tell me if this is true for you too. Most people, what we were hearing is that, and we experienced ourselves, is that other people in our lives aren't speaking this language. Like you're sleeping next to somebody who doesn't get what you're doing at all. And it's frustrating because you're like, jump on board. I need the excitement. I need the energy. Because when you hit those walls, man, they're hard. Oh. And so, yeah, so you need people who are right there in your corner, cheering you on. They've got your back and can help you really navigate the ebbs and flows of the event, and so that you understand also what to do after. So that's what happened with Noelle and I. We stopped and we're like, what happened? Do you like this? Do I like this? Okay, well then let's make this an actual scalable business model. Yeah. And so we put together our moderators mastermind and in-house certification to duplicate ourselves essentially with other heart-led entrepreneurs. Nice. With the same language, and so that we could continue to support communities after and in between the events. Because if you're rolling events as your marketing strategy, which is a brilliant one, if you haven't considered it, you'll want to open up a conversation about that summit model, some kind of online model, whether you're brick and mortar and you're looking for a hybrid system or not. You really want to get some language around this and have some people partner with you on it, because it's a really good cash injection and lead gen magnet. Your reach is so huge right now. Yeah. So we really love supporting people in developing those relationships, getting the excitement, the engagement up, fueling those transformations, and really getting in to figure out who showed up for you and making sure that you get that win in the end. And so do they. So it's a win-win all the way around. So that's what's going on with that.
That's awesome. And I can really feel the energy between you two ladies, because like you mentioned, you're both different personalities, but man, do you ever, you just support each other so wonderfully. And, and I've noticed that in the mastermind. I've noticed that in the individual communication where you're always, thinking about the other person. You're always making sure that you're not leaving the other person behind, that everybody's part of the team, that the whole group is meshing and bringing that vibe up strong, and we're all having fun, right? So it's
you know what? Having fun and having community and having team, Dean, is what it's all about. And I was we were like briefing Charlene and I before we came on here with you guys tonight, and I just said, like, you know, we are kind of on a team with Dean in a sense, because we're in a high ticket mastermind with him, and we're bouncing ideas around all the time, you know. And I said, like, actually Dean is on one team with us, you know. You can play different sports, but he is on one team with us, and so we've actually kind of experienced that. And I also wanted to say, like, I believe that that's what he's doing here with you guys. So don't just be observers, right? Like speak up, bounce ideas around, be in community here. Like, that is what Dean is here for. That's what he's passionate about. And having community and team, like, man, it just gets you so much further ahead. It really, really does. And I know that's probably like as old as the hills, you know, but it's, we witness it ourselves. We preach it, we practice it, and we act it. We are people's teams, because people should not go it alone. I've been an entrepreneur for about 5 years now, and probably like 4.5 of those years were incredibly lonely. And like, I'm in a partnership with my husband for the interior design business, but he does the renovations. So he's like a whole other department, you know, and I'm the business side. So it's like, it's very isolating sitting in an office on your own all the time, like wondering if these ideas are going to hit or if they're going to miss, or if I'm spending money in the right place or whatever. And the minute you have a team around you, we have a team now in that business, it's just like, oh, okay, like you're just bouncing ideas around, and then finally you find the lane, right? And so use this group, you guys, use Dean's group to do that. Like, it's an opportunity. It really is.
It is. And now that you mention that, it's ironic because Chris and I have been speaking about doing a challenge together. He asked me a couple of ideas, and I was very, very impressed with his ideas, and I even added a couple of elements to what he had thought. And I would very much love to have you ladies involved in that process, because I already know you're rock stars, so why would I not have you in?
Thank you. Stop. Take it.
Right? And the beautiful thing is that this is how we build community. This is how we build the power of value in the community. This is how we help people get to that next level that they need to get to. And it's powerful when we realize that it's fun to do. And it's not overly difficult. We just have to make the decision to start, right? That's all we really need to do. Just have an idea and go with it. Bounce the ideas around, like Noelle said, just as you mentioned, Charlene, that those 2 different parts of what we do, or 3 parts of how many people are in the team, or whatever the case may be, that makes a huge difference as to the idea flow. Because like you mentioned, you can't do this alone. You had those 4.5 years of loneliness, Noelle. And you know, I know what it's like to be a solopreneur, as they call us, when you are alone. And it has been so much better as I've built a team. And the next question I'd like to ask you is that in this experience, this awesome team that you've developed and the many teams that you've worked with, what would be the one thing that a myth or something that needs to be debunked when it comes to challenges? What would be the one thing that you would want to talk about that?
I'm going to go with one that comes up frequently, and it's the VA versus moderator. And I don't know if Noelle would agree with this. She may have a different answer, and that's one of the fun things about it. So I'll answer one. Noelle can go with her answer.
Right. All good. All good.
So VA versus moderator. So a lot of people have, many people have a team in place already. Some people are just starting. Everybody's at different phases. What we found is if people come into this with their VA and they just want to jump in the challenge model because they have the language and whatnot, the host has the language, but they're trying to impart it.
Yeah.
They may or may not be capable of doing the job. And it's not because of skill. You know, there's a lot of things that people can do. You can pop things in units, you can manage chats and whatnot, you can like posts, but there's a difference between that and really understanding the fundamentals about relationship building. And some people are wired differently. Some people are built to naturally engage. Some people are naturally built to ask questions, who will be the first person to rip the Band-Aid and be vulnerable, because vulnerability begets vulnerability. Yeah. To know how to continue a conversation or encourage a conversation to go deeper, because those are the things that are going to get the transformation. Those are the things more so than sliding a live recording into the guides, did you actually connect? Do you actually understand the people? They are people behind those screens. And so when you understand the people, they know that you understand you. You've made a connection. Now you've developed a long-lasting relationship. And if you've really made that connection for a long-lasting relationship, they're going to continue to grow with you. Why? Because they love you. They love you. Why would they go anywhere else? I know I'm loyal to people who have supported me. I have no desire to look anywhere else. Even if they do raise their prices, it doesn't matter, because I know my experience and the feeling that is evoked in me in the service that I get from them, and that feeling of being seen, heard, and acknowledged is so rich. But you're not going to get that from somebody in the same way. No. If they're not wired that way. Yeah. Why would you, I think in some of our copy there, how did you word it, Noelle? Why would you ask, do you remember how you did that? I can't remember.
Oh, what did it say? Why would you ask your receptionist to plan a wedding or something like that?
Right? You just wrote it. Yeah. There's a different experience. You're going to hire somebody who understands events and who's going to orchestrate it well. You're not going to want to gamble when you've invested some serious money and time and energy into an event that you want to have everybody to have an amazing experience at, for it to be memorable and for it to really land with impact.
Yes. The way I always looked at it is, if you want to learn to fly a plane, don't ask a farmer how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Right? So how would you speak to that, Noelle?
So I really agree with Charlene on that for sure, but I was kind of thinking like, oh, what could I add? And I would say something that we see quite frequently that's actually debunked when you have a team, because then they're there to tell you, no, it's okay, is that people running events or online events or challenges frequently get lost in the need to be perfect before they present. Whoa. And so that means like the teeniest, tiniest little tweaks on a funnel, or like the, if something's directing somewhere, like I need to have that that link being directed there, and they kind of like get caught up in their heads instead of like maybe just like dwindling it down and making it a little more simple so that it can be go time sooner. Because really, when you're running an event, you're doing one of two things. And Chris would have heard Pedro talk about this. You're doing it to learn, or you're doing it to earn. And I would say like the first one is probably definitely a learning experience, because you can't put something out there and do something new like an event with your business if like you don't really know who's going to come the first time. But then once they come the first time, you see who shows up, and then you can like gear your whole business in that direction. So we just really encourage people to be like 7.5 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, and then it's go time, right? So like there will always be things to fix, but if you don't go, then like if you don't launch, then you won't be able to learn what's actually important to fix and what you can just let go of.
It's really a launch and learn, because you know what? Every single time you launch, you are going to learn more. And if you haven't built in enough wiggle room, right, what are you going to do? You have to allow some flex.
Absolutely.
And it's never wasted. Like running an event is never wasted. You always record them, and if no one shows up, or if like 5 people show up or 10 people show up, you record that and you put yourself in the spotlight, and then you're developing a mini course at the same time, and these are the types of strategies that we help people come up with.
Beautiful. And I agree 100%, because I know lots of people have done the analysis paralysis thing. That's got to be perfect, or I can't put it out there. I've done it myself. And it sucks. It's not even remotely fun, because what happens? You don't launch, you don't learn, right? Yeah. So what would be one of the biggest lessons that you've experienced, and what did you learn from it? I've got you both speechless. Wow.
That's a shocker. Enjoy that moment.
I just want to have a really good answer. So I would say, I was thinking before when Charlene was speaking that like we've actually we've learned how to pivot really quickly. Like we've learned how to say yes, even though it's risky, even though it's scary. We always revisit what we're saying yes to, you know, but we don't get stuck in it. And if it seems like a good way to put our next foot forward, then we go for it, knowing that we can always take one step back and that we won't get too upset about that, but just keep moving forward. And I would say something that I learned the most is like to kind of practice what we preach. So for the first little while before we took that break late in 2020, we were just doing it on our own. And when we took that break, we realized like, oh, we're saying like everyone needs a team, and we don't actually have our own team. It was just Charlene and I. And so at that point, we were developing a business model, but we really built our own team into that business model. And now like the opportunities almost seem endless to where that can go, because there's so many people gathered around us and supporting us. And we're just so grateful for that. So yeah, if you're out there, promoting something, I guess just like question, like, am I being authentic, and am I putting that into practice in my own life?
Yeah. Vulnerability is key. How about you, Charlene?
There's one thing that Noelle and I came across this year too. It's kind of, there's two things. Invest in yourself. Yeah. Invest in yourself, because, and I actually think it came from Pedro, but I've been chiming it ever since because it's so good. You are good soil. You are good soil. You're worth investing in yourself. I kept running for myself. For the longest time, I wouldn't invest in myself in the way that I needed to grow. But if you don't, how are you going to, right? How are you going to? You have to do the work. You have to put in the effort. It's not going to feel great all the time. There is some work that's heavier lifting, and there's other stuff that's wonderful. But in the end, there are multiple harvests. And so enjoy that along the way. And when you do get those harvests, stop and celebrate them, because they are big. And what
I would just add to that too, like, I don't think that the celebrating would be as celebratory if the heavy lifting didn't happen.
That's right.
It would. And one of the strategies that we've used for that too, and we tell some clients and other friends of ours that we're going through it, is literally write out a list of the things that you did last week. You'll probably surprise yourself. What skills did you develop last week alone? Like, come on. And Chris, I bet you could throw about 3 down there on the list right now.
Right, 100%.
And then the other thing is how important it was, I think has been the biggest one for me personally. And then watching the impact of it roll out through this year, through all of the other people who are doing summits and challenges and these virtual events and building communities. Just, whoa, how important it is to belong somewhere with people who actually get you, people who speak the same language. For many years, I felt alone in my thinking. I've always been big vision, and always never really felt like I quite fit in, that nobody was really speaking the same language as me. And
you
now,
felt like you were too much, you've said before.
Yeah, I felt like I was too much. I was told I was too much.
Yeah.
But turns out in this environment, it's just enough.
Just perfect. It's just perfect.
Got me taking a sip of my tea there.
But you know what I mean? Like, you are meant to be somewhere. Maybe you weren't designed to be in the box. Maybe you're like me and you're meant to blaze your own trail boldly forward. And that takes risk. It takes courage. It takes strength. And it takes people like Noel or myself to help, you know, or you, Dean. What you're doing with your group is the same thing. Somebody to blow into the embers and go, you've got this. I'm going to give you a little blow in the direction that you need to go. You need to do the work. You need to take the step forward. But if you have the investment in yourself and the willingness to do it, I've got you. I will be your net. You will succeed. And it may not look like what you think it's going to look like at the very end, but you're not in control. Walk forward. That's your job, and let it unfold as it's meant to unfold for you. And so we support people in virtual events that way. You support your community so strongly this way. What a blessing, guys. If you're loving your experience with Dean, and I'm sure you are, because we love our experience with Dean, show him some love in the chat and let him know how he's impacted you in a really amazing way. Because I'm sure there's one way. What brought you to Dean's group? What brought you to Dean's group, and what keeps you here? What is it about Dean that keeps you here? I want to know that in the chat, because I am going to circle back and I want to see comments.
You're dynamite, Charlene. That's awesome.
Like a true moderator right there.
Yeah, right. Right.
Dropping
On the spot, Johnny. Right? I want to know, and it's ironic that you would do that, Charlene, because that's how I lead my group. I try to go back and make sure that they've caught on to what it is that I'm trying to teach, and I don't mind repeating myself, but I'll do it with a different nuance. But the whole idea is, I've invested in myself. You guys, you know how to invest in yourselves. And I want to inspire other people to realize that that's the true path to greatness. You can't get there alone, just like you mentioned. There's no way to do it alone. You're in a box that you've created yourself, and you've even put the lock on it yourself when you do that. And there's no growth in there. You might think there is, but you're only going to go to the inside of the box. You need someone else to help you break out of that box and to actually recreate, redefine what it is that you can do, who you can be. All the greatness that's in there is not just for you to experience, it's for you to help other people experience. And I find that so powerful, and I've really, really noticed that. And it's amazing, because I love to teach, and sometimes I'm pushy, but just look what just came up here.
There you go, Connie. There you go. Yay, right? Connie. Let's see some more, guys. Keep the love flowing.
The thing is that I understand things so well. And I've been through so much because I've invested in myself in so many different courses, so many different groups. And I've spent a lot of money on it, because it has to happen that way. You don't get nothing for free, excuse my grammar. And if you want to get impact, if you want to get impetus, if you want to get inspiration and change, you got to put some skin in the game. There's no way around it.
Right.
You can't tickle it and get a guffaw.
It's taken both of us, and I hear it in your voice too. It's taken both of us a long time to learn that, and Dean is speaking the truth right now. Like, the minute that you step into it, and I know you've probably heard people say it before, but the minute that you step into that and invest in yourself, but then take the next step and keep investing in yourself. Don't just take the $2,000 course and think that it's the magic fix it tool or whatever. So like, you just have to keep investing. Something that we've found really powerful is we did not stop looking for a mentor until we found the right one for us. So Charlene and I are like accountability, business partners, talk every day. Find that person or a few of those people that get what you're trying to do. Do that in this group or another group or whatever. Develop your own team. You don't have to necessarily pay the team to bounce ideas around. Like, it can be an accountability partner, another entrepreneur, another friend, whatever. And whatever that message is in your heart, to get it out to someone who understands so they can encourage you. But then also, I would say, step into a mentorship relationship with someone. It goes a long way. And that might look like it's a paid scenario, but it is so worth it. It will compress time for you and save you a lot of money and a lot of uncertainty in the end, for sure.
And just to bounce off that, and you don't invest flippantly. You invest where you've experienced growth, where you've experienced that light, that light feeling inside you again, where somebody's blowing on the embers. You keep putting kindling on that fire, and you follow them and grow with that person, because they were put in your path for a reason, and you would not have had that experience. You would not have had that experience if they weren't the right person for you. I have a strong belief that the guides are put in our path, and it's our job to pick up the key and walk through the door. It's up to you whether you're going to take the motion of doing that. And so when you do that, though, and you do choose mentorship with somebody who's blowing on the embers of your soul, remember to not get caught in a consumption cycle. It's a vicious cycle we've all seen. If you are choosing, choose wisely, and choose somebody who's going to give you steps forward, and you are going to actually put them into immediate practice. So steps like what Dean will walk you through, for example, in his programs, he will give you practical, tangible steps so you get results right away. You think he wants to sit around and watch you just spin? No, he wants you to get into gear, because Dean gets fired up as soon as you get some movement. He's the first one celebrating in our mastermind. When somebody gets success, he's like, yay, and so encouraging. And when somebody like us is mentoring you, or Dean's mentoring his group, when somebody has success, it makes us go even 10 times harder. We want to over deliver even more, because you are worth it. And we love seeing you choose you first.
100%. 100%. And I've always found that when we're in a group setting, because you are sometimes in that place where you're wondering, like you were mentioning earlier, Charlene, where you thought you were too much and you didn't have a place to really express yourself. These group circumstances, these paid masterminds, my group, your challenge setup, all these places where you can express yourself and be supported in that expression and actually ask questions. When I was creating this group, you ladies gave me some insight that I never would have thought of. And if it wasn't for that, this group wouldn't have the...
See, that fires us up.
Yeah. And this group wouldn't have ladies in it if it wasn't for you.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Right. And the thing was, I never thought of that. And when you mention it, I was like, how could I leave that out? How could I have not thought of that? And it was like, what? How, exactly. And this is the point. When you're alone, you can't think of everything.
Right.
And when you're in a group, when that thought comes up, it fires you up. It's like you said, that builds that flame, builds that fire, builds that inspiration, builds that confidence that, wait a second, I'm onto something here. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
And it's me getting better, or it's me helping someone else get better, or it's me improving the group, or it's the group improving me. But it's something that's worthwhile. It's something that's worth growing and embracing. So it's amazing what you guys are doing and what you've done for me. And I'm glad that I've helped you do some stuff too.
Wow. That's so awesome. And keep something else in mind, guys, too. You guys are all a piece of wood in the fire, and everybody loves a good bonfire. So yeah, stick around. It's warm.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, if there was someone that was going to pursue the same career as you, the same type of work as you, what would be the biggest advice you would give them?
Come join us. We actually, so like there are people out there that are kind of assisting people with online events. Where we specialize is what Charlene was describing in relationship building, community building, authenticity, empathy, really seeing the people on the other side of the screen. We just kind of brought that in on our own. Charlene has a private investigation background. I have a community development background, and somehow we've just been like melded together in the last year to develop this thing. And it's actually a really powerful combination, in addition to her neuroscience studies and my design experience. And so it's just like, wow, we say like when our heads are together, we're like one superhuman, right? Because we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing separate of one another. But just with the skill set that we've brought, so we've developed a framework actually, and we're starting to train people through our eyes and through our experiences and through our knowledge, how we go ahead and moderate and strategize and engage a community, in the best way we think, which is through building relationships and really having that authenticity, but also through reading the room and through navigating all these different nuances. So like we're training for skill, but also just bringing in heart-centered entrepreneurs or heart-centered people who love developing community, love online communities. So we don't actually know, and I'm not just saying this because we do it, but we don't actually know anyone training people the way we train people. And so if people wanted to pursue what we're doing, we would say, come on over. We're training people right now.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And that's the other thing too, because we notice that people are going to want to train their teams, because you do need VA staff. Absolutely. You know how I mentioned that earlier, but complement it with somebody who knows how to build those relationships. And yeah, relationship manager essentially, you know. Beautiful. So people can come and have their staff trained by us, expensive. And then they've got somebody's staff there. So that's also another option that we've come across this year, because what we were noticing is that people were getting, one challenge in particular really opened our eyes. She got 600 people in her first challenge. Wow. Or was it her second challenge? Anyways, the one that we helped her out with, and 500 showed up in the group, or just under that, a very engaged group. And so when we left, it's like, and we were doing tons of the stuff in the back end, and then when we leave, now it's on the host. Now she's focused on doing her program and rolling that out, but now that there's a huge, she rolled a movement by accident, and that happens. People are going to love you, and you don't even, as soon as you hit your who, welcome to the new, you've got something to manage, right? But so she realized that she had to be both places, and she felt this obligation to nurture it. And we recognized it too at the same time, and went, wait, we can speak to that. And so we started putting things in place to support that experience. So it's pretty cool. It's fun because it's ever evolving, and we just keep saying yes and seeing where it goes and where it grows. And we don't know where it's going to end up. But for right now, we know that we're serving a really big need. It feels really good to us because we're choosing people wisely to train and to support other people. And we're able to funnel it in really authentic ways. And that everybody's just feeling really good. It's so, wow, it's refreshing. It's so, guys, it is life-giving. So if you have a message in your heart and your soul, and here's the thing, for those of you who aren't familiar with this language, I do encourage you to go check out Pedro Adeo or one of his certified challenge coaches, because the language that he's speaking specifically is very movement based. And when you have that language and then you come to somebody like us, we can really support you in that experience. But here's the thing, people are paying for your skills, your knowledge, and your experience. You don't need to stamp it with a certificate. We're still seeing people spin with that. You don't need any. You know what you need? You need something to have happened to you. You need something that fuels the mission behind your message. What happened to you? What did you learn? And how can you share that forward? And you start there just with that one. And what happens is when you deliver that one gives so much information back. When you send it out, people will tell you what more they need from you, and then you let it grow.
Yep. 100%.
And you actually have no idea where it's going to go. You can it might look like one thing. We did not set out to build this agency, right? We just started our own challenges, and so like it could totally be life-changing and come from left field, like it did for us, right?
Right. 100%.
Pay attention to the seed. You don't know what's a seed. The farmer gave us a seed. No idea it was at the time. Only looking back many months later went, wow, what a gift.
Yeah. Amazing, awesome wisdom, ladies, because that is the key to life, is to just embrace it. Go with the flow. Let the wind fill your sails. Keep your feet moving. You can look to the side and enjoy the view. You don't have to worry about, as long as your why and your who is clear, who you are and why you're doing it is clear. The end result is going to be flexible, but it's going to be rewarding. And that's why we're here. That's why we do what we do, to be not only just to be rewarded in ourselves, but to help other people realize that they can also find reward in it. And that's the power, that's the joy. And that's why I love you girls so much, because you're just so powerful in your message, so powerful in your purpose. You've got this niche nailed down, and in all reality, you have an opportunity with this coming up in the next little while. So let's talk about that.
So we're like jittery with excitement about this. So we have been helping people with their events for 9 months, like we said. And so we're really excited to be able to host our own event. We're hosting our own event to teach people what we've learned along the way. We're bringing in some stellar guest speakers. And so it's called the Convert with Community Challenge. It happens May 3rd through 7th. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. With confetti. There will be confetti.
There's confetti. That was my ask. Need the confetti. So what we're talking about during those 5 days is branding that converts. We're kicking it off is What message are you actually putting out there? What do you want to communicate, and why, and who are you speaking to?
Right on.
The second day, we're rolling into organic attraction marketing. And organic attraction marketing is, did your message land? Did you actually attract who you were meant to attract? And how do you open up those conversations? Wednesday is what content converts? How do you slice through the noise that's online right now? When we started a year ago, there was still a lot of online activity. This isn't new stuff. But the way it's being presented is different. And Pedro's been lighting up the internet. And so everybody's rolling their challenges. So how are you going to create something that's unique and different? Then Thursday is us. And we're going to show you how the power of team can really support you, and how building authentic, genuine relationships leads to conversions. And then on Friday, our coach, our mentor, is going to be showing you guys high ticket conversions. How do you roll masterminds? How do you get into that? What's that step? That's a big jump. A lot of people want to start there. You can't just start there. But we're going to show you throughout the week the threads that you need to put in place so that you make sure you attract the right person who will want to grow with you as you roll that out.
Wow. Am I allowed to have tingles and shivers? So that's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm going to expect that you guys are going to want people to go to your Facebook group and check you out and get to know what you're doing.
That's our networking group. You can come and shamelessly self-promote in our group. There's not many places that can do it. You can drop your links, go live, whatever. But yes.
I do something similar too. And in my group, I also, as I'm doing with you right now, I am absolutely support other entrepreneurs. And I love to do that because my group is important to me, and what I am sharing with them, the only stuff that I can share is who I am. I can't do what you do, right? And so that's why I bring people like yourselves in here, is to help other people realize that, wait a second, there's some value here. There's a deep pool here. And I'm really, really thankful that you guys are here. And I'm going to share this link next. Let's hear what you have to say about that. That's your website, I expect.
That's our website.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's our website. If you guys are interested in booking a call, we would love to hop on a 30-minute free clarity call, strategy call with you. If you're thinking about running a virtual event, if you have any language behind that, like Chris, you have language behind that, you're kind of looking to run one, or Dean, you're looking to run one, we'd love to hop on calls with somebody who's kind of been thinking about it and is preparing in the background with it. And then we also brought a free gift.
Yes, we did. That's this right here.
There we go.
And absolutely. I really, really appreciate this. I put it in the files of my group.
Awesome.
And I'm going to also make sure that it's available for anybody that asks for it. I want to make sure that, are you in a place where you want me to just give it away, or do you want people to ask for that? How do you look at that?
Nope, you can go ahead. Give it away. So what it was is, we are event planners. And so this is a quarterly planner for anybody who's running a business, or I guess it could even work for your life. You could just kind of change some titles. So we have everything from bookkeeping to marketing to social media. So we have a whole bunch of things where you could just kind of plug and play and organize your whole quarter. And then you could just copy that for the next quarter or start fresh again. So there you have it. We want to help people get organized and to time block and to see everything right there in front of them, so that it's not all just spinning around in your head.
Awesome. And I find very, very valuable to actually give stuff away, because a lot of people don't realize the value in that. You got to give to get. You were going to say something, Charlene?
Oh, no.
Oh, good. What, you have nothing to say?
Rarely. You caught a quiet moment in there.
That's okay. And I use Linktree as well. So this is the ladies' Linktree, and this will have all of their links in it, I expect. And
except for our challenge link, I got to throw that in there.
That's easy to do. You can amend it anytime. And I just wanted to make sure everybody had the chance. And now, is there anything that I didn't give you a chance to talk about before we break off, ladies?
No, I think that's it. But if you guys, there's our challenge link. It's free, guys. It's free. Come join, check it out, learn what's actually going to fuel you forward, because online, whether it's hybrid or full model, is the way of the future. You have such a huge reach. such a huge reach. It is worth it. So www.convertwithcommunity.com, and we've got a leaderboard. So it's really fun. You'll see when you get in there. You can win points and stuff. It's pretty great.
This has been one of my most fun interviews of all time, and I'm really, really thankful you ladies.
Okay.
Thank you.
And it's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
It's been great being here.
Bye, everybody. And I'm so happy that you were here, and I'm so glad that you had the opportunity to have this experience with me, because we are supposed to be a community. We're supposed to be a family, and I bring these people to you to let you know that I care, that I love you, that I want you to grow, and I want to be part of that growth. So reach out to me, reach out to the Challenge Queens, and don't be shy. Just so you know, I'm going to start my next program is going to be, well, 2 programs. I'm going to start a challenge in the next little while, but I'm also going to be reaching out to you individual people in this group to make sure that I am serving you to my fullest potential. So thank you so much for being in this group. Thank you for joining me tonight, ladies. I love you, and thank you so much for your wisdom and your charm and your cheer and your message. Thank you so much.
Thanks. We'll see y'all on May 3rd. How about that?
We got one more comment. Okay, there we go. Connie's saying goodbye. So that's
Bye, Connie.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, ladies.
See ya.
Bye.